Do you think at a time when global policies are dominated by the West, global financial system is also dominated by the West, to what extent this new emerging bloc, it is yet to be a formal organization, this new emerging bloc can succeed in bringing balanced global governance order?
With the passage of time, we will see this organization becoming more potent and asserting itself.
That keeping in view the American pressures, do you think, as you said, that BRIC has a bright future and it has made tremendous, significant progress since last meeting? Will BRICS survive the American pressure?
If 5 countries can group together and agree on certain areas of cooperation, that's fine. Right? Now, obviously, these bodies, these mechanisms will not be able to challenge the supremacy which has existed since World War II immediately, but there will be cracks in the international financial architecture. This is going to be a struggle between the developed and the developing countries in near future.
True.
But you see, our world is facing a lot of turbulence. It is a very difficult transition, and one is not sure how this world order will really evolve.
Precisely where you see Pakistan in that situation, Middle East, then, and of course, the Western dominance of economics and many other things, BRICS and many, many other challenges. Where do you see Pakistan's role? Pakistan still enjoys strategic position in the region?
We are naturally in a neighborhood which will continue to cause us, pose challenges, new challenges, existing challenges.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to Program Insight in B News English. Dear viewers, today we will talk about recently concluded BRICS meeting hosted by Brazil. There are a number of issues related to BRICS meeting that held in a Brazilian city, Rio, on 6th and 7th of July, including global trade. BRICS leaders also strongly condemned the Israeli strikes on Gaza, also strongly condemned the Israeli attack on Iran, and however it condemned Pahalgam incident but did not name Pakistan. So BRICS is an emerging global group. It is yet to be a formal organization, but it is an emerging global economic group. On the other hand, United States President Trump has threatened to impose more tariffs to the member states of this group, which currently stands at 10, including Ethiopia, Iran, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and previous countries are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. In a world which is where the policy's global governance system is West dominated, BRICS wants a multipolar world and inclusive global governance, and it also wants to give a meaningful voice to global South. So in today's conversation, we will discuss, will BRICS succeed in its mission in bringing a balanced global governance order? And will BRICS will be in a position to introduce a new common currency, which may give a direct challenge to the American dollar? And of course, the other developments, including the attacks on Iran. In today's conversation, we will also discuss issue in China, where Dalai Lama is saying that he will name his successor. And on the other hand, the Beijing has said that it will decide who will be the successor of Dalai Lama, a Tibetan leader. And India has also issued a statement on Dalai Lama's successor and irritated China. To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us Pakistan's former ambassador to People's Republic of China, Ambassador Masood Khalid. Masood Khalid Saab, very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm
grateful for this opportunity.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you with us. We will start with definitely BRICS. BRICS meeting concluded sixth and BRICS meeting took place on 6th and 7th of July in Rio City of Brazil. And as I said, it discussed different things, including climate change, food security, artificial intelligence, and many more things. And they also wanted to, of course, introduce a multipolar world. So, do you think at a time when global policies are dominated by the West, global policies, global financial system is also dominated by the West, to what extent this new emerging bloc, it is yet to be a formal organization, this new emerging bloc can succeed in bringing balanced global governance order?
Well, as you rightly pointed out, the BRICS, comprises important countries.
True.
Original five, which are China, Russia,
Exactly.
India, South Africa, and Brazil, and then you have addition of five more, with some important countries like Iran and UAE, etc.
UAE, exactly. Egypt.
So the trend and the trend lines are that, given the growing multipolarity in the world order, there are attempts by the countries, particularly of the developing world, to create these mechanisms and these bodies so as to resist the domination of the West in international political and financial structure.
Very true.
Especially, after the Second World War, these Bretton Woods institutions were, built by the West. But over time, they have not become irrelevant, but they are losing their credibility and their appeal, particularly to poor countries and developing countries. So if you look at this original membership of BRICS, these are the countries of the influential emerging economies of the global South. And they decided, to come together on this platform and raise the voice of the emerging economies, the problems they face in terms of, the dominance of dollar, in terms of one-sided sort of policies and approach of the international financial institutions. So this is a struggle basically to sort of break that, how would I say, that chain which has somehow encircled and entangled these poor countries and developing countries of the global South gradually. Now, they have issued a very comprehensive joint statement, as you mentioned, covering a lot of areas. But the core theme is that this mechanism, in my view, is gaining strength and momentum. And it is, if you compare their, deliberations, 10 or 12 years ago, you'll find there's quite a bit of progress in terms of, for example, connectivity, trade, and, using national currencies for their trade and asserting themselves in the Committee of Nations. So I think my assessment or my take is that this bloc, or this mechanism rather, will gain strength as we go along. And because it comprises very influential and powerful countries, for example, the second largest economy, China, and then Brazil, India, Russia. So they are important actors in the international power play. Exactly. So I think with the passage of time, we will see this organization becoming more potent and asserting itself. And look at the New Development Bank, which we are also trying to gain the membership of NDB. It has succeeded in enlarging and expanding its financial portfolio for the developing countries. So I think BRICS will continue to trudge along. Only thing is that It's an organization. For example, if you analyze one by one the big five or the main five: South Africa, Russia,
The big market, exactly.
China, and Brazil under President Lula. I think they would have convergence on major issues, especially on financial commercial issues. For example, President Lula said yesterday, after the meeting, after the summit, that, we do not want an emperor.
We do not want
emperors. We do not want an emperor in the global politics. And then he directly pointed out that it was not right for President Trump to announce, tariffs on the BRICS members. So that kind of convergence is there. But on the other hand, if you see the role of India, which is a partner in this Indo-Pacific strategy with the United States, so automatically India will create ripples in this organization to sort of so that the convergence on issues which confront the global South remain somewhat relegated, because India will try to balance its relationship with the United States. On the other hand, Russia and China, for example, they are in close strategic alliance or a partnership against the Western dominance and this whatever is going on in global politics. But finally, my take is that BRICS is going to emerge as a potent actor in this increasingly multipolar political architecture which we are seeing. I mean, it is coming up. We are in a stage where the world order is changing. It is in a state of transition, but these trends are very, very clear.
These trends are very, very clear, but as you mentioned that they wanted an end to the Western dominant system of finance, of governance, of international law, and many, many things, including you mentioned about the establishment of this bank. And on the other hand, of course, the American-led system will never accept these possible changes, which are a direct threat to the Western system, financial system, political system. So how would you see initial statement has gone through your eyes that Trump has made it very clear that if there is anti-American policy adopted by BRICS, and that is obvious, they are going to do this, there will be more tariffs. So question is that keeping in view the American pressures, do you think, as you said, that BRIC has a bright future and it has made tremendous significant progress since last meeting? Will BRIC survive the American pressure?
You see, the point is that another trend in international politics is that, I mean, you take the BRICS members, they realize that it is difficult to challenge, Western supremacy in the international politics right now. But on their own, they are trying to create these blocks or organizations or bodies, I would say, not blocks, to protect their interest, to safeguard their economic and financial interest. And if you see the trend, you will see that towards multilateralism. Okay, if 5 countries can group together and agree on certain areas of cooperation, that's fine, right? So this is the trend which is ongoing. Now, obviously, these bodies, these mechanisms will not be able to challenge the supremacy which has existed since World War II immediately, but there will be cracks in the international financial architecture because I mean, the very fact that 5 more countries have shown their keenness to join this body, that also indicates, like Saudi Arabia I think is undecided, but UAE is joined.
Pakistani application is pending, of course.
Pakistan application, by view, I'm not privy to the inside information, My assessment is it is pending because of India's road blocking it. Because, India would surely not like Pakistan to be there. But I think we are seeking the membership of the new development bank. So there will be tussle, Mr. Mateen, there will be tussle between such organizations and the Western dominated groupings.
True.
Now, when it comes to the protection of Western economic and financial interest, I see a convergence between the United States and the collective Europe. So, because we have seen this when we see the negotiations in the United Nations, for example, on distribution of finances and resources, for example, on climate change, we see there are pledges and commitments, but those pledges and commitments are very slow to materialize. Developed countries are still very reluctant to apportion the requisite funding for developing South. So I think these kind of mechanisms like BRICS, like for example SCO, D8, they are small groupings, 10 countries. SCO also 10 countries. ECO 8 countries, I think 8 or 9 countries.
True.
So they will form their own groupings, which will pave the way for a multipolar world. So in the days to follow, in the days to come, I think we will see tussle, we will see tension. And as far as President Trump is concerned, he sort of changes his goalposts very often. I mean, he gives a deadline and then he extends the deadline. So that is his tactics and approach, kind of arm twisting and coercion in the beginning, so to extract concessions. But this is developing countries. You cannot isolate them. You cannot marginalize them. So this is going to be a struggle between the developed and the developing countries in near future.
Excellency, you have mentioned the role of India. India, in the joint statement, successfully mentioned, got it, of course, Pahalgam incident. But Pakistan's name was not mentioned in the joint statement. How you see, as you earlier said, that India would also try to block Pakistan's membership in the BRICS. How you see this negative tactics of using this BRICS for certain political purposes, including Pahalgam, which was purely, it was established that it was their own created entire plan, false flag operation. They created basically to blame Pakistan, and ultimately then they attacked on Pakistan under the garb of this incident in Pahalgam.
India actually is stranded in its own, cobweb, in its own, it's a catch-22 situation. It is stranded in its own false narrative, which India expounded and created after 22nd April episode in occupied Kashmir. So the truth is now coming out, gradually. They themselves are admitting, that they lost their pilots, their jets, and now they are announcing national awards also posthumously to the pilots. At least I think 4 pilots, they have acknowledged 4 pilots were killed. So my point is that as the New York Times wrote way back when this incident occurred, New York Times said that India has faced a strategic setback. Now, if you look at the international media, one can easily conclude that India's narrative has failed to draw international opinion in her favor. So not only BRICS, in Quad also, in SCO also, India did not succeed in getting Pakistan's name included, simply for the reason that, first of all, when this unfortunate incident happened in Pahalgam, India immediately, in a knee-jerk reaction, India blamed Pakistan. And when Pakistan demanded, evidence and proof, and we even offered an independent investigation, India could not come up with any evidence, and India refused for impartial investigation. So my point is that when you have this kind of falsehood, and you build on the basis of your case on the basis of lies and falsehood, then the world sees through it. Although India previously succeeded in blaming Pakistan here and there for terrorist incidents, and got Pakistan's name included. But this time around, the world saw that Pakistan's case was strong, that Pakistan proved its mettle in the conflict, that Pakistan's, version, Pakistan's narrative, was based on facts. It was not falsehood. So, despite the enormity of India as a huge market, as a so-called democracy, and a big country, of course. Such a big country and regional policemen, etc.
True.
They could not market their narrative. And this time also in Quad, in BRICS summit, Indian side did not succeed in getting Pakistan blamed
exactly.
for the incident. So I think Pakistan has come out well from this episode. And Pakistan's profile has enhanced, and we are in a position to convince the international community of the logic of our narrative. So I think that's a gain for Pakistan's diplomacy and Pakistan's leadership.
Ambassador Masood, Khalid, there are other conflicts, including recent one. Strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities by the American jets, and then strikes by Israel, and of course retaliation by Iran on Israeli targeted positions. And then you are witnessing an ongoing conflict in Gaza, massive aggression by the Israeli security forces. Every day we are witnessing, reading, watching horrible clips from this besieged Gaza Valley. 30, 40, 50, 80 people every day are being killed. And we are also witnessing this Ukrainian crisis. So this BRICS strongly condemned the attacks on Gaza and on Iran. But why it skipped then Ukrainian conflict?
Because Russia was there.
Russia was there.
Russia is in BRICS. So I think Russia must have exercised a veto.
True.
But you see, our world is facing a lot of turbulence. It is a very difficult transition, and one is not sure how this world order will really evolve, because there is too much of confusion, too much of disturbance, too much of tumult and turmoil in international system. Take the financial side. I mean, we were talking about BRICS, for example. BRICS countries, they are very keen to challenge the dominance of US dollar in the world economy. But right now, of course, it's not possible. It's not doable. But they have started moving in that direction, and they have agreed to, wherever feasible and wherever possible, to trade with each other in each other's currencies. It's a good step. Yeah, it's a good step. So incrementally, progressively, these things can go on. So as far as Middle East is concerned, we in Pakistan, of course, have very deep ties with Middle East, religious ties, cultural ties, historical ties. Our people are there working. So we feel anguished, and Pakistan has consistently supported the Palestinian cause, Palestinian people. We are the only country, perhaps, even I would claim that even amongst the Arab countries, Middle Eastern countries, Pakistan stands tall, and Pakistan is prominent in advocating the cause of the Palestinian people. What is happening in Gaza, what is happening in Middle East is really a source of great concern and anguish for us. But and I mean, this kind of blatant, aggression, which took place against Iran, it has relegated, it has made international law and international humanitarian law meaningless. It has marginalized the United Nations. Security Council has completely and totally failed to discharge its responsibilities under the UN Charter. So my point is that when you have this kind of turbulence and chaos in international order, and the big players in this order themselves are, throwing the international law into dustbin, then you can imagine what can happen. So I think it's a very, very difficult phase in our life. One only hopes, and we were, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, the main tension in the international order was because of the contest between the United States and China. And now these new situations have erupted. Middle East for the last 2 years, when Hamas went into Israel and attacked, and then counter-attacks and this and that. And then this Iran question. So use of force, unilateral action, that means 193, 194 countries in the United Nations, they should deem themselves, they should regard themselves as helpless against this kind of behavior. So I think it's a very, very difficult situation. And for Iran, whatever happened in the 12-day war is before us. But I hope that Iran and United States can start talks now to sort of reach a point where Iran, this is my own independent opinion, that if Iran and USA can reach
an agreement,
some kind of agreement where Iran is allowed enrichment for civilian purposes, for example, for health, for agriculture, etc.
Medical,
because that is also their right as a party to NPT. So if that is allowed, I think we can see at least peace in our immediate neighborhood. As far as Gaza and Palestine is concerned, nobody can predict right now, because I was reading the statement of the Israeli defense minister today. He said, we'll push the Palestinians to Rafah. So they are thinking of deporting them. The neighboring countries, Jordan, Egypt, they are not prepared to accept any Palestinians. Jordan already has, quite a sizable number there. They are not prepared. So these poor Palestinians are sandwiched in this situation. So I think it's a very difficult situation. We are not sure. Israel's belligerence, Israel's, this prime minister, all their acts are criminal under international humanitarian law. And in fact, they should be prosecuted. But of course, as they say, might is right. Right now, we are seeing that might is right. And I am, astonished and shocked, actually, at the silence of these European countries over what is going on in Gaza.
So do you think the proposed ceasefire will finally be effective, will be acceptable by Hamas, by the Palestinians?
Hamas 2 days ago said that we are prepared to have serious engagement with Israel. And I think they are having indirect talks in Qatar, in Doha. But Israel's attitude is, very strange. It looks that they are not prepared to, reach an agreement. Of course, they are interested in the return of their hostages. But apart from that, they are not pushed whatsoever. I mean, they are killing Palestinians who are seeking shelter and seeking food. This is unheard of. These atrocities are so condemnable. So my point is that we are not sure what Israel's game plan is. Greater Israel. They talk of greater Israel. And we should be mindful of the fact the Muslim countries, the OIC countries should be mindful of the fact that whatever these Abraham Accords, etc., that if they start yielding to Israel's pressure and do not stand up now to resist Israel's designs in the Middle East, this will not stop.
Particularly Abraham Accord.
Yes, they can, because Abraham Accords, in my view, should be acceptable if Israel agrees to a two-state solution.
Exactly, two nations.
And stops the deportation and this massacre in Gaza, all these plans.
Otherwise, not at all. Exactly.
And this agreement, this arrangement is guaranteed by the United States as well as the European powers and the United Nations Security Council. You have to have guarantors. But if important Middle Eastern countries succumb to Israel's pressure, then the Israeli designs of greater Israel will be, they can be actualized.
We are reaching closing to the program quickly. As you mentioned, that it's totally changing the global world order. Whatever are the developments, precisely where you see Pakistan in that situation, Middle East, then, and of course, the Western dominance of economics and many other things, BRICS and many other challenges. Where do you see Pakistan's role? Pakistan still enjoys strategic position in the region?
Pakistan's position, we will face challenges because the fallout of this global disorder will impact us also. And we are in a volatile neighborhood. India is there hostile. Then we have uneasy relationship with Afghanistan. Iran is also turbulent. So we are naturally in a neighborhood which will continue to cause us, pose challenges, new challenges, existing challenges, etc. But I think our foreign policy is geared in the right direction in the sense that we are also looking towards these groupings regionally. We have realized the significance of regionalism. So we are, we are quite proactive in SCO, we are quite proactive in D8, we are quite proactive in ECO, and to protect our interest, economic interest of connectivity. We want to link up with this region. And fortunately, China is a good friend, our neighbor, trusted partner. With Russia, we have improved our relations. Central Asian republics are now looking towards Pakistan to use connectivity routes. This is a good sign for Pakistan, good opportunity for Pakistan's future. We should focus, first of all, in my view, on our internal issues, internal challenges, because we need unity, we need national cohesion. And then Pakistan is an important country geographically, strategically, militarily, and in terms of our, future projections in South Asia. Nobody can dismiss Pakistan's importance. So I think, and Pakistani people are very resilient, and they stand up to a crisis. They can really, as was seen in May 2 months ago, we proved our mettle. So I think,
and the Pakistan is a new leader in South Asia. Exactly.
Pakistan has a good future. Pakistan has a good future, provided we take our destiny in our own hands and we work diligently. We follow what Quaid-e-Azam said: unity, faith, discipline. And I think nothing is better than that guideline which he provided. And Pakistan's future will be bright, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Retired Masood Khalid, for sparing time despite your busy schedule and sharing your thoughts on one of the most complex and emerging issues. Thank you so much once again, and dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.